From moonlit walks to women empowerment, it sounded like Zyia would have been off to a great start. That is, until they decided to go with the multi-level marketing business model. If you're unfamiliar with what MLM is, to simplify it, it's when you sell products, but if you recruit and build a team, you can receive even higher commissions. You may say that seems to be a little similar to a pyramid scheme. There have been MLM companies that have been shut down or forced to restructure due to actually operating as a pyramid scheme. According to statistics and studies, the majority of MLM reps rarely make a profit or break even. Some even lose money and go into debt. So why would anyone join these companies? Because they promote their opportunity as women empowerment and having a community of women behind you. They also like to show off this luxury lifestyle, or you may be sucked into it under the guise of it being able to help you out of debt and being your own boss. In reality, you will work non-stop for little to no money. In some cases, you'll even go into debt for a large corporation that just sees you as a number. A starter pack doesn't make you a business owner. When being pitched the opportunity, you'll be made to think otherwise. MLMs are commercial cults and pyramid schemes at their worst and scams at their best, in my opinion. What makes Zyia interesting to look into is they're fairly new and their quality is something that they make a point to talk about on their website. But what if I told you their products are allegedly being manufactured at AliExpress? Let's dive into the world of the MLM company known as Zyia Active. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Monica. I like to comment and talk about unethical business practices with a focus in multi-level marketing. And yeah, so that's pretty much what my channel is about. Are you okay back there, Zero? I'm sorry, I have my dogs and my daughter in the room with me today, so if there's any extra noises, I'm so sorry. Lily has already demolished the pillows in the background multiple times while trying to film this intro, so we're just gonna leave it at that. In today's video, I am going to be diving into the MLM company Zyia. They have activewear and things of that nature, but the reason why is because before I went on, I guess you can kind of say like a maternity leave. I'm still kind of on a maternity leave here and there. But before I had my daughter back in October, someone had sent me anonymously some photos of Zyia being possibly, allegedly manufactured with Alibaba or AliExpress, whatever you want to call it. And I do have those pictures, so I am going to provide those pictures in this video. But that was one of the reasons why I wanted to dive into it, because I got these photos sent to me, and whether it's some kind of sabotage or if it's actually true, I mean, I'll let the photos speak for themselves and y'all can form your own opinion on it. But that's what we're going to dive into today. Of course, just as a disclaimer, this video is for entertainment purposes only and just my opinions. In addition, I do always encourage everyone to do their own research. This is just based on the research that I was able to do. All of my sources will be linked in the description box below. But without further ado, let's just hop right into this deep dive about Zyia. On Zyia's blog is where I found their story as to how they started. There's not that much information out there about Zyia yet, and I'm going to assume it's because they were founded in 2017 by Aaron Bradley, the CEO and founder, and Jeremiah Bradley, who is the founder and chairman of the board. We'll talk about these two in a little bit along with other key players, but according to a blog post written by Aaron, their story began on a snowy, moonlit hike. I am not making this up. This is all written by her. Erin had gone on this hike with a group of women, and she really loved this because they were all so encouraging as they pushed themselves to hike just a little further. During the hike, there was a point in time where Erin found herself in the back, and she looked at this group of women with the moon shining over them while they were all helping each other. I'm kind of curious as to why they were hiking at night in the snow. I mean, from someone that grew up in the Northeast where there's a lot of snow and we lived in the woods, I don't recommend hiking at night in the snow. I mean, it gets very cold and there's a lot of animals, but I mean, to each their own, I guess. Anyway, the reason why Erin was telling the story in this type of way was to work up to talking about the feeling of empowerment. And what are MLMs known for? Constantly talking about how they empower women. Well, in this blog post, she said, quote, "I wanted to find a way to create more opportunities for women to come together to uplift and support one another. 6 months later, when Jeremiah and I were considering starting a business together, this experience gave us our inspiration," end quote. Erin continues to talk about how her and Jeremiah support companies that value community and how their company should reflect those same values. Knowing what I know about the photos, though, the portion of this post where it says, quote, "Add Jeremiah's knowledge and business expertise to my love of people and fashion, and it's easy to see how we arrived at the idea of offering high-quality activewear. And not just quality activewear, but a line in a company designed around empowerment, community, and self-improvement," end quote. If y'all are going to be so gung-ho about high-quality activewear, why was I sent photos of Zyia items being allegedly made and packaged in an Alibaba warehouse? Anyway, because of this moonlit hike, Erin says that started Zyia's foundation: light, activity, community, and uplift. The moon was even the inspiration behind the brand's logo. Erin also believes that, quote, "Zyia offers many ways to enhance your life. If nothing else, I hope it adds light to your journey," end quote. On their actual About page, they do have their team listed, but they say the following: "Zyia Active is an active lifestyle brand. It is also a culture that believes in embracing activity with excitement, vigor, and delight. We feel that pushing your body and mind is easier and more fun with friends and family. Our mission is to inspire and uplift by making activity a fun and essential part of life." At least the one good thing is there are women who are in leadership roles at this company. Normally we see these MLMs preaching women empowerment when most of the CEOs are men, but Zyia has quite a number of women in leadership roles, which is something that is nice to see. After clicking on Erin's Learn More option, she says how with Zyia they wanted to create something that would help women come together, become healthier, more active, and to feel more purpose in life. With how Erin thinks and what her mission is, if Zyia wasn't an MLM, it would actually be a really great mission to have. However, the very mission that she has gets canceled out by the fact that they operate as a multi-level marketing structure. It's clear as day that Erin is just a typical hashtag boss babe by this portion in her About page. She says, "At Zyia, we want to get others involved, so we have created ways to reward those who help us spread the Zyia brand. We created a fun and simple way for others to earn free clothes, trips, and money by sharing their passion of being active and for good quality activewear. They can be their own boss, set their own hours, and work with whomever they want." The last part about working with whomever they want, you mean working with everyone with a pulse? We see this all the time that reps will try to recruit as many people as they can. Not many reps are picky about who they recruit because they just want to build as much as they can, because the bigger the team, the bigger the commission check. Let's talk about Jeremiah Bradley, who is Erin's husband. Jeremiah is no newbie to multi-level marketing. He entered the direct sales channel in 2004. He was a CEO of a company where he turned it around from being an unprofitable company to a booming company. After he supposedly turned that company around, though, he decided that he wanted to start a business with his wife. What Jeremiah fails to mention in his bio is that the MLM he worked for was Agile, I'm not sure if I'm saying that properly, where his father was the founder. We're just going to call this Agile for the sake of this video, just FYI. Anyway, Agile was a supplement MLM that eventually expanded into skincare. We see MLMs constantly adding more product lines that are in other industries besides their main product. After they added the skincare to the mix, the company started to suffer a little bit. Randy Gage, who according to one article is some kind of MLM icon, left Agile due to not being paid commissions on time. Agile ended up being bought by a merger and acquisition company, JR33, doing business as JR Networks. Apparently, JR was really into purchasing troubled direct sales companies. Needless to say, Agile closed its headquarters in Pleasant Grove, Utah in 2017. Why are all of these MLMs always in Utah? Can we just have a quick discussion about that in the comments section? Anyway, I wonder if maybe that has something to do with wanting to start this company with your wife, Jeremiah. Of course, Jeremiah tries to be relatable in his bio, where he says he enjoys traveling and spending time outdoors with their 4 children. He can usually be found fishing, horseback riding, or playing soccer with his kids. Is it just me, or does that sound like the most generic bio ever? Next up, we have Jeremiah's brother, Zach Bradley. He's the co-founder and president of Zyia. He started his career within the finance industry, but eventually would move on to direct sales. He was the VP of International Sales for Agile, the company where his and Jeremiah's dad was the founder for. Zach's bio also failed to mention any details about Agile, besides that he worked for a multinational company. Due to his experience in Agile, he was able to make some connections within the Asian and Latin American markets. Zach's wife, Brenda Bradley, also works for Zyia. She is the co-founder and designer. In her bio, she talks about how her dad always instilled living an active life, and many of her cherished childhood memories are of the two of them doing something active together. He taught her to never give up, so when she immigrated to the US, it was difficult to adapt to the culture here. Coming from a child of immigrants, I can definitely understand where she's coming from because it is a little difficult to adapt to the culture. It's definitely different. Due to this difficulty, though, she says she was very depressed, but exercise was what helped her during those tough times, which makes sense because, endorphins, and I know that whenever I eat healthy and I work out, I always tend to feel a little bit better. My body feels better. I feel stronger. I feel healthier. I feel more alert. So I definitely get where she's coming from with that. Because of her love for working out, she said, quote, "I also realized that too often the best looking and best quality athletic apparel was very expensive and not everybody could afford it. With Zyia Active, I loved the idea from the very beginning because not only could you feel good and look good while living an active lifestyle, but it also gave everybody an opportunity to have the best quality apparel at a price that anybody could afford." End quote. That's funny considering I saw women's joggers for $89 and some women's yoga pants for $55 and above. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't find that to be affordable when I can easily find joggers and yoga pants for less than that and I don't have to go through a multi-level marketing company. The 89 joggers are going into the pricing territory of Lululemon, and that's a very well-known brand. I did do a deep dive into Lululemon and some of the problematic things about its founder who's no longer with the company, so if I remember, I'll try to leave that video linked below. If you want to join Zyia, you do have to find a rep and go through them. You can't see any information unless you find a rep, so I did just that, which was on the interwebs, and we'll go over that in a little bit. They don't have an income disclosure statement, nor do they have a full-blown handbook or anything like other MLMs. They have 2 of their comp plans on their website, which shows that you do need to keep a PV, which is interesting because the rep who wrote about what it takes to join Zyia failed to mention that. People who are new to multi-level marketing might not know what personal volume stands for when looking at the comp plan that was provided on this rep's website and the Zyia website itself. So if any ex or current Zyia reps are watching this, can you clarify what the personal volume actually is? Because the only thing that we know right now is that they do need to keep a PV, but I don't know exactly how much. In the US, it costs $295 to purchase your starter kit, which includes 5 staple items, which are 1 pair of leggings, 1 sports bra, 1 pair of joggers, tank top or jacket, and a hat, and a $100 gift card to order additional pieces that you want. I can see the incentive to join, even if it's just for the discount, because reps do get a 25% discount, but if you're paying $295 but getting a $100 gift card in return, reps will try to justify this, saying that they're really only paying $195 for 5 pieces and an extra $100 to purchase items that they want, especially because some of these items on their own are very expensive, but there's a bit more to talk about with the starter pack. What's also included is $50 in business tools, which includes 2 free months of back office support, product catalogs, order forms, brochures, stickers, and a starter guide. I'm not sure why the rep I found this information from is providing a monetary value for the business tools other than to entice potential recruits. In my opinion, that should be included in the starter kit price, but again, that's just my opinion. Part of your starter kit should be training or some kind of tool such as catalogs. I remember when I got my Beachbody starter kit, it came with brochures, and of course I received training from my upline. The training wasn't that great, but at least I did receive it. All of that was included in the Beachbody Starter Kit though. Don't let some of these reps fool you when they advertise the opportunity like this. The tools you get are just some brochures, training from your upline that will pretty much come down to make sure you recruit because that's how you'll make higher commission checks, and here's a Zoom call that will last an average of an hour and it'll just be a bunch of fluff. You do have to pay $15 a month for your website, but the fee is waived if you reach $600 in sales for the month. This is something that I haven't mentioned before, but let's say that fee isn't waived, the $15 a month fee, then for the entire year you'd be paying $180 for your website, which compared to how much I pay for my website, it's really not that bad, but it is waived if you make that $600 in sales a month. However, the $15 a month, I mean, if it's not getting waived, while it's not a lot compared to how much I pay for my website and everything, it's still kind of a hefty amount. So I really hope that they have other options with this website and it's not like a generic website, because then it really wouldn't be worth it. But I mean, maybe I'm just looking too much into this. Maybe I'm just being nitpicky here. But anyway, the rep who I found this information from said the following on her website in the FAQ section about if Zyia is multi-level marketing. Yes, Zyia uses a multi-level marketing strategy. However, it's up to you whether or not you want to run your business this way. If you decide you're happy being a rep and choose to simply sell apparel and collect commission, that's fine. If you choose to grow your business and increase revenue by adding team members, you will receive rank advancements and even greater commissions. Totally up to you." End quote. This means that this MLM is just like all of the other ones. There's more of an incentive to recruit. Now that you have an understanding of what it takes to join Zyia, let's move on. Zyia likes to talk about the quality of their pieces on their website. That's all fine and dandy, but they're making it seem like this is some amazing quality product. They make it seem like their products are more of luxury type pieces. If that's the case, why am I getting sent photos like the ones I'll put up on the screen right now of what looks to be Zyia products being allegedly made and packaged at the Alibaba or AliExpress warehouse? Not to mention the markup is incredibly high because there's no way that they are even paying half of what their clothing is being sold for. I would love to know how much they are purchasing these pieces for from Alibaba, if that is what they're actually doing, because they must be making a huge profit from just the markup itself before even getting into the multi-level marketing model. Statistically, the majority of people in MLMs won't make money, and some of that majority will even lose money. You have to be a product of the product. So when it comes to these clothing MLMs, you have to be wearing the clothing a lot in order to be a walking advertisement. I'm going to use LuLaRoe as an example. I remember in LuLaRoe's peak, anyone on my social media who sold it or purchased it was always covered in those hideous clothes from head to toe. I'm all for mixing prints when done right. I've seen it done right so many times within the fashion industry, and I mean, LuLaRoe just ain't it. It was not done right. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is if the company is using Alibaba and marking their clothing up on top of being an MLM structure where the reps become the best customers, the company can be profiting significantly. But that's just my opinion, of course. I'm by no means an expert, nor do I work for the company, so I don't know what their financial situation is. For the company to be so big on quality, this one testimonial I found really had a lot to say about the lack of quality consistency and why they left Zyia. So on this person's blog, it says why I stopped selling Zyia activewear. I wasn't confident in quality consistency. While some of the pieces of clothing I had from Zyia were amazing quality, other items I wasn't sure about. One of the biggest complaints was see-through leggings, and that worried me since I wanted to be confident in the quality of the clothing I was selling and promoting. Before I had joined, I talked to a former Zyia rep that had let me know about some of the quality issues with the clothing, so I was mostly aware of this going in as a rep, but I had hoped that they had worked through this issue by the time I joined. I struggled with telling my customers about the high quality clothing that was sold by Zyia. Many items are good quality, but I didn't want to hide from my customers if their choice in leggings were potentially see-through. Granted, not all of the leggings were this way. The black light and tight leggings were thin but not see-through. But with each new release of leggings, my big question was always, are these squat-proof? I'd wait to hear from other reps or customers who bought new leggings to see how they were promoting them. Some of the different batches of the same style and color of leggings would be see-through and some wouldn't be. So they must have had different quality batches even with the same style. I felt that there needed to be more quality control in that area to ensure the leggings were all the same quality regardless of the batch. That said, I believe that most of Zyia products are good quality. One of my favorite pairs of joggers currently is from Zyia. My black unwind joggers from my starter kit, and they fit very well and are very well made. Irregular sizing. Another thing that I was concerned about was that not all the clothing had regular sizing. Some of the legging styles were true to size, some were quite small, and some were loose fitting, even though they were all designed to be snug like workout leggings should be. I found that most of the shirts and tanks were pretty narrow on my hips as well, so I had to order up a size or two sometimes to fit on my hips, and then they were baggy on my bust area. I noticed this particularly with muscle tanks, where the armholes were quite large and awkwardly placed when I got a size larger that fit my hips. Considering I don't have a particularly large butt or hips, this was disappointing. I feel like other brands fit much better on my average frame. The prices are high. Considering the unpredictable quality of Zyia clothing, I felt that the price for Zyia was too high, especially considering that not all of their leggings are squat-proof and some of the sizing could be off. Some of the other clothing brands I've promoted are higher priced as well, but they are consistently high quality and have some perks. For example, Go Light is made from recycled plastic bottles. Prana uses fair trade and often organic cotton and recycled materials and has regular sales. Under Armour has competitive prices, regular sales, and supports our military and first responders. I don't know if I'm saying Prana correctly because I've never heard of that brand before. I also might be living under a rock if I haven't heard of that brand before, and they're very well known. But anyway, I am a budget conscious shopper and I always look for good deals. So initially it was very difficult for me to be okay with the prices of the Zyia clothing. But I got a discount, so I was fine with it at first. But buying clothing regularly at those prices can add up. And even though I could write those off as a business expense, it cuts into profits. Many activewear brands like Under Armour, Reebok, Adidas, etc. will regularly have sales on their clothing or offer personal trainers a discount, but Zyia rarely does sales. They do have markdown or clearance items, but reps don't get full commission on sales of those items, and the sizing or colors are extremely limited. The next point is about how she made little profit, because this is the rep's testimonial. So even though I was really only originally talking about the quality, we can go over this as well. Zyia does seem to take care of their reps and they offer nice bonuses regularly. But even with bonuses and the amount I spent on gift cards for party incentives and the cost of the starter kit, it didn't make sense for me financially to continue to be a rep for Zyia. Like other MLMs, it's difficult to earn more money if you do not sign up reps under you. The name of the game is recruiting, and if you don't believe in your product fully and aren't comfortable being salesy, that can be very difficult to do. I watched this documentary on Vice about a popular MLM and it was eye-opening. While reps are not required to buy clothing or keep an inventory of Zyia clothing in order to sell it to be successful in an MLM, you are expected to buy the product and use it yourself, be a product of the product. And that can get expensive. Even with the rep discount and hostess credits reps can earn through sales. Considering that my area was saturated, I was not a salesy person. I wasn't willing to cold message anyone. I was putting more time into my blog. The cost of the starter kit, the regular cost of party prizes, and the cost of buying new Zyia items regularly, it didn't make financial sense for me to continue selling Zyia. We often get what we put into things. If we work harder, we get more money usually. It's the law of reaping and sowing that I firmly believe. However, regardless of what promises are made to new reps, most people do not make profit with MLMs. Consider this study by the AARP Foundation. According to their research, 40% of MLM reps lose money, 27% break even, and only 25% report making a profit. Considering that 91% of reps say one reason they join is to make money, there are a lot of reps who don't make the money they thought they would. And that was the main reason I joined Zyia, for additional income for my family. And I didn't want to keep putting money into it if I wasn't going to pay it off. So I stopped sooner rather than later to cut my costs and stop putting money into it. Then she goes over that her area was oversaturated. A lot of reps tend to say that this is not a thing. I'm not going to continue to go over this. I will leave that post linked below by that ex-Zyia rep because she did a great job talking about MLMs in general, talking about Zyia, and she has so many sources within that blog post of hers, so I am going to leave it below. This next portion is taken from a creator here on YouTube that creates anti-MLM content by the name of Eva. Eva has had Zyia reps mass reporting her Instagram and YouTube account because I guess they just don't like being called out. Anyway, I took two things from one of her videos, but I highly recommend checking out her channel. So let's just get into it.
She says, another former Zyia rep here. I confirm what the other girl commented. The top Huns absolutely encouraged their downline to behave in a way that whatever may suits them. We were also always told to never complain and always keep it positive as far as the company was concerned. I don't totally blame the Huns for this as it's heavily encouraged at company level. I still remember a top rep lecturing us about negative comments on the company's social media when it were people expressing concerns about the website or problems with the product. Most non-MLM businesses wouldn't care. Feedback is feedback. I never made it past the bottom rank, but I suspect these Huns have a lot of pressure from corporate. Zyia likes to make themselves look like one of the nicer MLMs, but they're just as toxic in my opinion. I remember one of the founders encouraging us on a team call to give a good review on their Facebook page. Most of the good reviews they have are current Zyia reps. They didn't come out and say that our review should only be positive, but you could feel the energy and the pressure to not say anything but good was definitely felt.
So I always think if you're trying to get somebody that you're like, this person is awesome, I really love them, I feel like their vibe could be what I'm like, you know, leggings are their thing. Like your first interaction with that person should not be about your business. So send them a message, react to their stories, do all those things to try to get an authentic connection going. And then eventually what you do will come up. Like it just will. Right? If you're having a real conversation, they're going to be like, oh, what do you do? Or they'll follow you and they'll see your stories and like, there you go. So when we talk about messaging, I'm never trying to sell somebody something because I don't want to come across as like a salesperson. I know at the end of the day, that's what we're doing here, but that I don't think that's what you lead with for me. Right? If somebody's jumping into my DMs like, hey, I really think that you should try this weight loss supplement, I'd be like, okay, like, thanks a lot, but like, this is not how it works for me.
Here are my thoughts on what this rep said in Eva's video. First of all, she's talking about authenticity, which is rich considering she's contacting people with the motive of pitching them. Some reps like to use this tactic, and in my opinion, it's just so manipulative to do. These reps are creating fake relationships and recruiting is clearly always on their minds. And they see everyone as a dollar sign. I like that the rep for once called herself a salesperson. Too often I hear reps calling themselves small business owners, and that's just not the case. Anyway, as I said earlier, make sure to subscribe to Eva's channel. If you like videos like mine, then you'll definitely like her videos as well. I will say that I don't think I can trust Zyia products. The reason being is because of the photos that were sent to me. They say Zyia. They show the different types of styles and cuts and stuff like that of the clothing that Zyia was selling. You cannot tell me that your product is quality product if you're ordering it in bulk from places like Alibaba or AliExpress. A lot of companies do that. So I'm not naive in thinking that, you know, companies don't do this out there. They do. I'm very well aware of that. But for a company to toot their own horn constantly, toot toot, and say that they have quality product when it's really not, then I don't think I can trust that company. I mean, of course, I don't trust them anyway because they're an MLM company, but I usually try to find things that maybe I can give the MLM the benefit of the doubt about, because when I read a lot of these stories of these MLM companies, how they started, for some of them I think that it's just complete BS and it's just, a bunch of fluff to make it look pretty. But I do think that other companies, they do try to start out with good intentions, but it turns into an MLM, and I don't think that MLMs ever have good intentions. But starting a company off of this moonlit walk that the founder and the CEO was talking about, and how the logo came from the moon from that night, that's all fine and dandy, and that sounds great, but why did you make it a multi-level marketing company? Not to mention, I keep going back to the quality part of it, but you talk about how the quality is so great, then why are we seeing these photos from Alibaba, AliExpress, whatever you want to call it? That's just my opinion, though. Other people can have their own opinion. But yeah, so that's all that I have for you guys today. That's the little deep dive. I guess you could say it's a mini deep dive into Zyia. They are a little bit newer, so if any other new information comes out, or if there's updated information, I can always make an updated deep dive. I have done that in the past. I did a video about the MLM company Nu Skin. That was one of my first videos that I did when I started making anti-MLM content. And then last year, was it last year? I think it was last year. I made an updated deep dive that was a little more thorough and had a little bit more information in it. So if new information comes out, or if there's an income disclosure statement, or I don't know, let's say that there's just more information, then maybe I will go ahead and redo or make another deep dive into Zyia. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, dislike, whatever tickles your pickle, whatever floats your boat, all that kind of stuff. But I will see you guys next time, and this is Monica reporting to you live from a highway. Bye!